I think everyone can agree that Mushoku Tensei Episode 22 is phenomenal for a variety of reasons. It had character development, thought-provoking themes, and it settled major plot threads that's been building up for most of the series. We can all agree the separation of Dead End hit hard. Seeing a journey come to an end is never easy, especially when it comes so soon. However, in a way, a good journey feels short, and you wish it was longer. I doubt it'll be the last we see of the group together, but it could be a long time till we see it. I could imagine that in the anime it might be many anime seasons until they reunite. Obviously, this is me guessing, but the departure felt final. Like it's going to be a long time. So it might even be a supposed, season 3 of Mushoku Tensei when we see Dead End finally back together again. Anyways, let's get on to the topic of this video. There's so many things that could be taken away from episode 22 of Mushoku Tensei, I could legit spend hours talking about the show. And because episode 22 was just so spectacular, I forgot to mention a few things in my episode review I made a few days ago. I feel like many may have noticed it upon their first watch of the episode, but may have not dived too deep into it because there was just so much going on. But there was a theme going on besides goodbyes, loneliness, and the feeling of weakness. This scene right here at the start has Rudy experiencing a nightmare. In the nightmare, you see a party and everyone that Rudy cares about is there. However, the atmosphere grows dark and you see blood drip onto the floor. As the dream turns darker, Rudy feels himself getting boxed in and slowly being separated from everyone he cares about. We fast forward to the end of the episode, we see Rudy alone, but we also see Rudy drinking from a wine glass before that. This very wine glass spills on the floor in a similar manner as the blood in Rudy's nightmare. It's definitely intentional from the animators and the writer, so what does this theme actually mean? Well, we got to look at the surrounding events to really piece it together. At the beginning, it's clearly blood dripping, and with Orsted appearing at the end of the dream, we could assume it's Rudy's fear of death itself, or even change. He doesn't want to let go of this life so easily that he has now obtained. As for the wine at the Eris and Rudy scene, wine in many stories has been depicted as blood, or even temptation. I feel like many are seeing where I'm going with this. It's clear as day that Rudy drinking the wine would mess with his ability to think straight. Being in a younger body that is small at that will have a greater effect on him, even if he doesn't realize it. So what does this have to do with death and change I mentioned for the blood scene in the nightmare? Well, it's the death of Innocence. The wine glass falling into the wine is symbolic for that, with Eris and Rudy tying the knot. As for change, it was a change in his personal relationship with Eris. Rudy has always had a problem with change. It took him many years to leave the house, and it was thanks to Roxy pretty much forcing him to leave to complete his training for him to change. So that's why it represents change as well. Rudy, despite being drunk, tried to talk Eris out of going through with the promise that they made years ago. However, Eris successfully seduced him because the alcohol started to take effect. He no longer could hold himself back against his greater judgment. Rudy was worried he was taking advantage of Eris, but in reality, she took advantage of him. I feel this has a part to play in why Eris left too. I mainly feel it's because she feels weak and doesn't deserve Rudy, but I feel guilt is another factor too in this entire story. I would also like to point out that at the beginning of the story, Paul was seduced and when he cheated. And so this right here, this scene is kind of something very similar. Rudy was seduced and he made a mistake that he probably didn't realize at that time, change and death of innocence. So I do think that it's a very fitting theme, and I really like that. I felt this needed to be talked about because of the effort put into it. I know this is a minor theme in the episode, but I do appreciate the work that was put into this episode. It once again shows just how much the staff puts into the series, and I couldn't be more thankful for their hard work. But I'll leave it at that. It's something I just wanted to quickly cover because I felt it was very important, but at the same time I forgot to talk about it in my episode review. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you, enjoyed it, then, please leave me a like. It does help me out a lot. And if you want more of my content to appear in your YouTube feed, then, think about subscribing. But I love you all and be safe. Chibi out.